Here's how I created this large raised garden bed using the practice of Hugelkultur. Here in California, we are entering winter, which may seem like a strange time to put in a raised garden bed, but I want to try out the practice of Hugelkultur. Hugelkultur, what does that mean? I do believe it is a German word. It started out with creating layers of wood and planting on top of that to kind of create little mounds. But for us, using a raised garden bed is the perfect way to use this practice. You start off with larger materials, logs, sticks, that kind of thing. On top of that, you put smaller yard clippings, leaves. On top of that, your soil and other compost material. It's almost like a garden lasagna. As the layers begin to break down, they create a little mini ecosystem, which over time will fertilize your plants and also requires less water, which is very important in places like here in California where we are always in drought. It promotes really healthy soil and beneficial insects, which are always good for your plants. The other benefit of this, of course, is this will save you a ton of money as you don't need to buy as much soil to fill up this large garden bed. So for me, this is the perfect time of year to start this project as I'm winterizing my garden and I'm ending up with a lot of yard clippings and other materials. So I am going to use the Savannah raised metal garden bed for my Hugelkultur bed. It's great because it's very deep. It is galvanized steel. It comes in lots of colors. I got green. It ships really nice and small. You can see this was just delivered straight to my doorstep. With the galvanized steel, it will last long. Plus it's recyclable should I decide I don't want it anymore. And it shouldn't take too long to assemble. So let's put it together. All right, let's see how long it actually takes to build this thing. We don't get a lot of bad weather here, but I am near the ocean, so we do tend to have some rust issues with certain things, so this should be perfect. It even comes with gloves, a pen, and markers, so that's a little bonus. This is the top edging and the sides. One thing you will notice with this Savannah garden bed, this is 24 inches, which is important because we want to fill it fairly high up with the woody material. Included with the set is all the hardware that you're going to need. You've also got all the instructions and all these pieces. So let's get building.
What follows is a brief construction montage.
Okay, this should be pretty straightforward. That was straightforward. It's as simple as this. These little bolts go into here and I hold that in place, and in the back, this goes in here. And eventually we can tighten these up, but we're going to keep it loose for a while. Initial frame is in, so I'm going to go ahead and put in all the rest of the bolts to make it completely put together. So I'm now installing these brackets which help stabilize the bed. It's been about a day and we've had a bit of a change in weather. It's definitely fall. We're finally getting some rain here in California, which is desperately needed. It did take about 45 minutes to put together. It's got these bars to kind of keep it in place. What's also cool about this, I had it upside down at first. See, there's smaller holes down at the bottom. That's to stake it into the ground. And then these larger ones are for a trellis system, which you could put in, which I am certainly interested in because I do like the idea of putting beans in here. And in the true nature of reduce, reuse, and recycle, I'm going to use the box that my raised metal garden bed came in as the bottom layer. Okay, here we go. So I've just got some soil and clippings in under there. I'm going to add my cardboard. I'll probably have to tear it into a few pieces to fit. So I don't think cardboard is totally necessary. I just happen to have it. I think it'll help with my own gopher problems. And it'll create a nice barrier for the moisture to stay in. Eventually it'll break down as well, and the roots can go even further into the ground there. The main thing is really just finding what you have at your house already. If you have a ton of cardboard, use it. If you have a ton of garden clippings, use that. All right, my cardboard is in, and now I'm just going to use some of these clippings and logs and other garden cuttings that I have to hand. So here is a collection of yard clippings that we've had for so long, and we knew we would use them eventually. On the plus side, we have all different sizes from quite large to small. I should also note I'm using untreated wood. These are yard clippings. I'm not using, 2x4s or other pressure treated wood, because I don't believe they break down the same way. They might be treated with chemicals, you just never know. So use yard clippings. I'm going to layer all these logs in here. Eventually, we get a nice big layer of the logs, and they will create air pockets, which are good for the roots. As it rots and breaks down, it'll encourage beneficial insects to come in. It will create heat, which is good for the plants, especially new plants. It's just a win-win. Here's how we're looking so far. There's a nice big pile of wood. Next, I think I'm gonna add a layer of more like compost and wood chippings, kind of the smaller stuff to go on top of here, and then nice soil as the last layer for my plants. Okay, so now we have our log layer, we have a layer of mulch, and a bunch of other yard clippings that we just threw in today. So the next step is to add the garden soil. Okay, I'm here at the nursery. We're gonna pick out some good soil for the bed, as well as some bedding plants. Okay, lots to choose from. I think I'm gonna get some soil booster and some planting mix. I'm gonna need a lot of soil because it is a big bed that we are dealing with. Okay, here we are. Here's a lot of lettuce options. It is the fall, so there's not a ton, but I think I'm gonna do a mix of herbs and lettuce.
The next day,
I have layered in all of my cardboard, my logs, my yard clippings, and the last job is to put in the soil. Here we go. So obviously this top large layer is purchased soil, but obviously all the organic material that I have on the bottom, that's not going to break down for a long time. So I'm going to add a really good layer of this stuff on top for my plants that I'm going to do now, and they're going to have, at least, almost a full foot of this good soil. Eventually, as everything breaks down, I'm sure I'll need to add more soil, but it's a great way to fill a big bed like this and make it last a few years. I'm also choosing a soil that does have organic material in it. This one in particular has earthworm castings, humus, chicken manure, stuff that will be really helpful for growing my plants and my vegetables. My advice as well is always choose an organic soil. It's much more sustainable, it's much better for the planet, and I believe it's better for your plants. I've already found some earthworms in this soil. It came with it, so That's always a great sign of soil health. There's something really glorious about this. It's sort of lets loose your inner child playing in the dirt. Okay, so I did end up taking some soil from other parts of my garden. Obviously there's stuff in there that I don't necessarily want, but it's another way to be a bit economical about this. And I simply mix it all in with the good stuff. So see that much darker, good soil, mix it in. Try and take the stones out and roots. This is another good way to fill up your bed without spending too much money. I mostly have the purchased soil, but I do have some of the other natural garden soil as well.
The next morning.
So here we are. It is morning. The sun is shining. The soil is in. We have so many layers to our Hugelkultur bed, and I'm very excited to start planting. I chose some lettuce because I know they'll do okay with the cooler temperatures, some snow peas, and then some annuals, which I've got chamomile and some beautiful sage, and some potatoes. These are just simply from the grocery store. We let them get a little bit too old, so they're gonna go in. Apparently this is all you need to do to grow potatoes. Planted up so far. Obviously I still have a lot of room over there. I might do some seeds for that stuff. I have my potatoes in here, and everything is looking great. It's getting more towards the evening, so obviously the shadows are longer and the shade is coming over, but this site does get a lot of sunlight for most of the day. So that is it. My bed is layered up, planted up, and now we just wait and see how these plants do.